Just to get started, we're going to do a half hour every day. So every day we'll cover a different topic, but I kind of wanted to go over exactly what's in the nutritional guide for you guys. So my coach has got some new habits for you. So tonight's one is switching off your device after 9 p.m. Oh my God, disconnecting off social media. Who would have known?
So I missed that.
What do you mean you missed it? You missed everything I just said, or?
No, just probably the last 3 seconds.
Okay, all right. So basically, my coach will just send you something daily. Just have a look through it, have a read through it. While everyone's got spare time, well, I appreciate not everyone does because of homeschooling, and some people are still working. Just try and go through those daily habits and try and take on board what they are. We're going to go through this week. After today, the main thing we're going to start looking towards is boredom eating, because I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely trying to avoid the fridge as much as possible. So some of the things we're going to talk about is how we can combat boredom eating. I'm more than happy to say do 3 burpees every time you open the fridge, but we're not going to go that far, all right? So we're going to learn about why we're boredom eating, what we can do to break that habit, and work on tiny little steps throughout the week to break those kind of habits. If there's any new habits that you want to learn that weren't in that initial bullet points that we put out, let me know. Drop me an email on my coach and we can add those in. Everyone's muted, guys, so if you want to talk at any point, just unmute yourselves, all right? To start with, though, guys, most of you should have got your nutrition guide from me. If there's any errors in it, let me know. Doing 50 odd of them at the very last minute was very difficult after my little technical glitch yesterday. And it was the system, it wasn't user error, just to be clear. So just to go through the guide for you guys, this isn't about weighing food to the nth degree. So you'll have noticed if you've read through it, it goes through portion size and using your hands. Portion sizes are relative to you as a person, so they're relative to your calorie count. So if you are a much taller, bigger person, you are going to naturally have slightly larger portion sizes than, say, Georgia, because she's little, right? So someone like Dave is going to have a much larger portion size than Georgia because he needs that to sustain himself naturally. So the portion sizing in there is done based off of your palm kind of guide. So we've done a pretty basic split, something real simple. So 30% protein, we want to try and aim to fill the plate with 30% of your protein, about 35% carbs. That doesn't mean whack on 1/3 of your plate of pasta. This is carbs coming from veggies, whole grains, everything, okay? And then 35% fat. So for palm sizes, it's giving you the portion sizes for the whole day. So my palm size is, I need 5 palm sizes of protein per day. So I might have a meal that has 2 palm sizes and then one later on that has 1. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's actually really handy. I use it a lot when restaurants were still open. Sounds like so long ago now. To just eyeball the food that came out. So I would know roughly what I'm eating without worrying too much about tracking every single calorie to the nth degree. One of the things, the reason why I use this method is it doesn't encourage that obsessive calorie counting. It's got a place. If you're a bodybuilder, a professional athlete, excessive calorie counting has a place, but for a normal person, which we all are, it doesn't make sense. You don't need to kind of go into the fine details. If you eat 20 calories more in a day, you're probably going to eat 40 less another day. Does that make sense? You can all nod or shake your head. Thumbs up works. Cool. So protein's one of the most important one. The veggies is kind of like your fist size. So you're going to go for a fist size of veggies. Try and fill your plate up with as much of them as you can. Veggies are pretty good. They're low in calories, but they're very nutritionally dense. So it's a really good food to eat. I don't think I need to kind of go over that too much. Rena's going to be posting up tons of recipes this week. I know she'll put weights and measurements in there, but again, it's something that you can eyeball using the palm and the fist size. The carbs, guys, so when we talk about carbs, we're talking potatoes, rice, whole grains, those kind of carbs, the more dense carbs. That's when we're going to look for kind of a cupped handful. try not to, when you weigh it out or look at it, try not to just like pile it over the top. That's a little bit more than that. So we want kind of like a nice level, okay? Just be sensible with it. And then for fats, try and stick with healthy fats. So we want things like olive oil, avocado oil, like really healthy, good fats, not your margarine or your lard or anything. Lard is definitely a no-go, guys. Please don't do that. But you're going to look at kind of thumb size. Does that make sense to everyone? It does take a little while to get used to, but based off of the guidelines you've got, it gives you your rough calorie count. So for me, some of you may have looked at your calories and thought, oh my God, that's way more than I've ever eaten or I normally eat, especially if you track your calories. I've actually done the calorie calculations based off of the fact we're all moving a lot less. If that's not the case and you guys are still doing quite manual labor work, then let me know because we can rejig it. But I've kept it as we're moving a lot less. So to give you an idea, I'm probably, based off of my fitness tracker that I keep on 24/7, I'm probably about 1,000 calories less moving every day. Just because I'm not in the gym, I'm not moving around, I'm not coaching, I'm still training twice a day. In fact, I'm probably training a little bit more than I usually would, but my calorie count is definitely a lot lower because I'm not up and about as much. So it's something to bear in mind. That calorie count is actually a lot lower than what I would have given you if you're in the gym day to day and things were going as usual. Does that make sense to everybody? Little thumbs up. Okay, cool. I'm just checking. I've got 5 more minutes till you can ask questions, guys. I'm trying to get the info in. So just one of the big things right now, I appreciate not everyone's going to be able to get all, Dooney's come say hello as well. Not everyone's going to be able to get all the food in that they want when they go for a shop. The guide has a list of kind of good proteins, bad proteins, okay proteins, same with carbs and everything else. So take a look at it and try and work your shop around that. I actually don't think it's going to be that bad in the next week or two. I didn't. Darren went for a shop. There wasn't anything that we couldn't get on there. And if you're going weekly, trying to stick with the fresh produce is actually probably going to be a lot easier than trying to get frozen. Frozen looks like it's pretty much just gone, non-existent. The veggie aisle is definitely full. So try and stick to as much natural veggies kind of as you can and bulk your meals up with them. Like they're a really cheap, great way to bulk your meals up. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool. So from a carbs perspective, guys, the list is quite big of the don't eat or eat less. So unfortunately, things like honey is actually quite a big high carb on that one, and some of the canned dried fruits and veggies as well if they've got a lot of preservatives in it. So try and avoid those as much as you can, and any kind of flavored milk drinks, anything like that just has a natural influx of carbs and it's really not going to be good for you. Then finally, guys, as I mentioned with fats, keep it as natural as you can. Nut butters, they're on the okay list. So everyone that loves a bit of peanut butter or almond butter or any of those, it's all on there. Just be careful with your sizing. Like I said, thumb part doesn't mean this whole part of the thumb, it's that bit of the thumb. Okay, so don't just go, if I do this bit, it'll fit my calories, because it won't. All right, any questions, guys? I will open it up for you. I'm going to unmute everyone, so there may be a bit of chaos, but we'll go and see how everyone's feeling. So any questions about the guide at all, guys?
I haven't found my guide. I'm really sorry. Where do I go to find it?
It's on My Coach. I sent it to you.
On My Coach?
Yeah.
Under messages or resources?
Be under messages. I put it under resources. Everyone will see calories. You don't want that.
Can I ask a question?
You sure can, Nick.
Oh, excellent. Well, 2 actually. You just mentioned about the thumb, so I might have missed that. Is that just, so you said with carbs it should be a level, a cupped handful.
Yep.
But with healthy, are we saying with the fats then, the oils and things, we're saying just the thumb, and the same with peanut butter?
Yeah, so peanut butter is classed as a healthy fat. So you want to look at about a thumb size. So if you are used to dolloping it on toast or anything, you might want to revisit how much you put on your toast.
Okay. I forgot what the other question is, but never mind. Cool. Excellent. Thanks.
No worries.
Jen, just a quick question about protein bars and shakes.
Yep.
Because obviously protein bars, that was the interesting thing for me, showed up to eat less of.
Yep.
I'm assuming because the amount of sugar that they kind of pack into them.
Yeah, it's kind of when you start to eat a lot of this kind of stuff, like the protein bars with the chocolate and the bits of carbs in it and stuff, it's pretty highly processed, so it's hard to measure it in the same way. It's not to say don't eat them, just be careful about the amount you're eating. If you can, try and stick to whole proteins. If you're having just a protein shake, just class a scoop of your protein in as one of the palm sizes of protein.
Okay. And then quick question on shakes, because on the last challenge that we did, obviously shakes were a big part of that.
Yep.
Are we still able to do kind of shakes for some of the protein intake, or?
Yeah, so I would look at a shake as you would a normal meal, right? So they are awesome and I love them. So if you're going to do a shake and you have your scoop of protein, and let's say you put some oats in there with then your coconut milk and your water, just treat your oats as your carb source. So just make sure that when you do it, you're measuring it out in the same way. Okay. That's not to say shakes are off. They are really good, but where you can, if you're hungry, and like me, are getting up every day to the fridge on a regular basis because it's right there. Shakes can kind of help with that a little bit as well if you put less stuff in them and you want to break it up throughout the day.
Okay, cool.
So is the shake a meal replacement then?
It depends on what you put in it, PT. Like if you're just having a protein shake, no, it's not necessary. I would call that a snack replacement for protein. But if you're filling it up with, your veggies and your carbs and your fats, then yes, treat it as a meal replacement. So some shakes, depending on how much peanut butter you put in them, milk you put in them, the fruits and everything else, they're easily going to be over 500 calories.
Okay.
Which,
and another thing, on the plan, is my preferred eating style is anything. What does anything mean?
It means you'll eat pretty much anything.
I thought so, because
so like you're not vegetarian, you're not vegan, there's no restrictions that you've got. So it'll give you a couple of like recipe ideas for that. Rena's kindly going to be doing a lot of recipes up on the challenge page and on the In Too Deep. We're going to tag them as recipes, so I appreciate social media. Our pages are going a little bit crazy at the moment. So what we're going to do is start using kind of keyword searches so that when we post stuff up, you guys can just kind of put in workout and it will just show you the workouts, or you can put in recipes and it's just going to come up with recipe ideas, that kind of stuff, just so that you're not spending forever trying to get through all the push-up challenges and all of the workouts and everything else that's going on the page.
Okay. And one more question.
Sure.
So I'm allowed 2 pounds of eggs for breakfast, for example, and also the fat.
Yeah.
Doesn't the yolk count as a fat as well?
Yes.
The egg yolk.
Yeah, it will do.
Oh, so I can't have.
So
obviously.
when it comes to things like that, I would weigh up whether it's more protein on the plate or whether it's more of the fats on the plate. So that's one way to look at it. When you're mixing up those kind of foods, using the guide, it'll give you a good idea. If you're going to use a whole egg, though, I would use that as protein, as a source of protein, because it's much higher in protein than it is in fat.
Okay.
Yeah. I struggle to eat 3 meals a day. Which is what happens where I snack along the way on sweets and chocolate and such.
Yep.
If I eat 3 meals, I'll have to really push it down my throat to eat the 3. So I don't know, is there any way around, because if I have a breakfast, then I often don't want a lunch.
Yep. So one of the ways to do that, I definitely don't suffer with that problem, but one of the things to do is kind of plan out when you're going to have your meals and plan out your snack time as well. So it sounds silly, rather than just randomly grazing, actually plan between those smaller bits that you're going to have. So you make the meals a little bit smaller and then have a couple of extra snacks in between. Just that way you're not going over the top between those 2 meals, because the last thing you want is those 2 meals to be massive.
Yeah.
But then you're snacking right up until your first meal or right up until your next meal.
Yes.
So just break the meals down a little bit more and then just keep those snacks kind of to a minimum. Or just one of the other things to do is if you've got a lunch, break it up in half eat half of it, save half of it, go back to it, that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Sandra, you're taking notes.
I am. I'm taking my notes.
You laugh, Nina, you're going to be asking her later.
Thank you
I
very
know. I'm just saying it. I still can't find it. It's this menu plan that you've written. It's nowhere on my phone.
It's on My Coach under messages, Nina.
Okay, so I haven't got it.
So have you sent me through your age, your weight and your height?
Yeah, I just did it this morning.
That'll be why then. I can't unhook it, but I'm not that quick, Nina.
No, because if you remember, you put it through as Gillen. So
No, so the account is, the email address was previously registered to Gillen, so I've
okay,
updated it.
that's all right. Okay, I'm out.
And Jen, making me 6 years younger definitely doesn't make a difference to my intake.
Sorry?
Making me 6 years younger on my plan doesn't make any difference to my calorie intake.
No, you should be fine, trust me. You should be good.
Okay.
Rework the numbers just in case, but there's a couple of points women where age does matter and it's not quite there.
Okay, cool.
So just to
I
clarify,
like it.
if we send all the info to you, do you then work out roughly what our calorie intake for our target?
Yeah, so I'll roughly work out your calorie intake, what your portion sizes would look like, how many kind of palms of protein, how many palms of carbs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What about if you put like your milk in your coffee?
Sorry?
Like milk in your coffee?
Yep.
How much?
So in that case, milk would kind of be classed as a fat.
Okay.
Because it's going to be higher in fat. Black coffee though, no problems at all.
What about
Sorry?
soy milk?
Soy milk, it's still classed as a fat.
Okay.
Oat milk.
Same thing. Oh,
Chocolate milk.
carbohydrate, that's got much more, way more carbs in that one. Nice try though.
My last one.
On the plan, you say that we can have stuff that is not good, but very small amounts. So is that like a glass of wine at the weekend, or?
Yeah, so it comes down to the age-old thing, right? It's the 80-20 rule. Consistency is the most important thing. Like, don't go to 100% at 90 miles an hour. You're going to crash and burn after a week. And there's enough kind of stress going on at the moment anyway. So you want to aim for as much consistency as you can, but still have a treat. Like, don't go mad. That doesn't mean have a glass of wine a night. It's, if you can go into moderation, so 80% of the time, be as good as you can. Still have a treat. If you want a biscuit, have a biscuit. Just bear that in mind if you know you haven't been great for the whole day anyway. So if you can stay as consistent as you can with at least 2 of your meals, and then maybe a little bit extra creeps in on the last one, that's not going to be the end of the world. Consistency is the main thing that helps you now. So we're not looking to, while it's a 6-week challenge, I'm not expecting you guys to drop kilos in 6 weeks. What we want to do is get into good habits where we are consistently eating well and just seeing a nice steady decline or a nice level out, right? The last thing we want to do is put on weight. Yeah. We want to either stay the same or just drop a little bit and level nice and steady. If anyone does want to drastically drop weight, that's fine. We can drop me a message and we can talk about that. But it's quite a stressful time. Now's not a good time to say, right, I'm going to cut 5 kilos. I'm going to lean out and get myself abs. It's not a great idea to do that because we are all moving a lot less. We are stuck indoors. Food is on hand. There's ways to kind of work around that instead, though.
Sandra, you need to tell Glenn to keep up the rationing for you. Basically.
Yeah, your ration's my chocolate, I guess.
Biscuits, basically.
Yeah. Get my Kit Kat per night.
Kit Kat.
One thing to Kit Kat.
Is that what it's called, Sandra?
Maybe I'll just get a Kit Kat on a Saturday. I don't know.
Can I ask about the on My Coach, the body fat percentage? Obviously, we can't put that in. Nope. Is that going to be any to this 6-week challenge? Because when I did the challenge 2 years ago, that was very much a big part of it. I know we can't.
Yeah. So the thing to bear in mind with this is it's not the same challenge. The nutritional plan is completely different. This is more about trying to keep you guys into healthy habits. It's not about dropping weight, dropping body fat. That's just a bonus from it. The goal really here is to keep you guys in good habits, keep you motivated, and just try and make sure that we've got some consistency going on. The first thing that goes out the window with most people when something different happens and your routine changes is your lifestyle and eating habits change. So we want to try and ingrain some good eating habits in prep for when life goes as close back to normal as it's going to get.
So we don't have to like.
What about pre-prepared meals? So me and my husband were looking. Well, we've been trying all sorts of different things. We did a vegan thing, and then we went to just before coronavirus hit, actually. So we have a freezer full of kind of 2 weeks worth of pre-prepared muscle foods.
Yeah. So one of the things to look at in the guide, where it's got the portion sizing for the hands and stuff, it'll actually give you the weight of carbs, fats, and protein. So if you've got that, which you should have with prepared meals from muscle food, you can actually do a comparison as well, so you'll have a rough idea of what's in it.
Okay.
Same for anyone that wants to track their food on MyFitnessPal or anything like that. The guide does give you the gram breakdown, so you can put that across into MyFitnessPal.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions, guys? Everyone's very quiet. What's going on?
Actually, yes.
Go on, Petey.
Okay, so on my plan is, for example, a vegetable omelette and nut butter toast. So the picture shows an omelette with veg, so I assume there's yolks in there.
Yep.
And 2 slices of toast with peanut butter.
So the peanut butter is probably that's going to be your fat, and it's going to be, if you can get it on 2 slices of toast thinly, do it, PT. If not, just have 1 slice of toast.
But 2 slices of toast plus vegetables seems quite a lot of carbs.
So you've got to bear in mind vegetables are measured differently. So while vegetables are a carb, they are measured completely differently. So there's the carb measurement and then there's a vegetable measurement in the guide. So there's 2 different ones.
Okay.
Basically, eat as many veggies as you can. It's going to fill you up a lot more.
Okay, cool. Is Nick doing his homework or something?
I'm multitasking.
He's not with us.
I'm multitasking. I'm at work.
You're working for your money, aren't you?
No, that's for the weekend.
I bet you never took any of that in, did you, Nick?
No, I just like seeing your
I'm
face.
typing in an email to Jen.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Any other questions, guys?
No, go on.
Jen,
Yeah.
you know where it says eat anything meals and it gives you like the examples underneath? Why does it say like 1 or 2 of each of the...
It's gonna depend on what your portion sizing is, right?
Okay.
So, and it's gonna depend. So it may say 1 or 2 bits of protein. So it depends if you've got 2 lots of protein that you can use or if you're down to 1. So all of those examples you can kind of tweak and change. It's just gonna depend on what you are doing with yours specifically.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
But when it says like 5 palm-sized portions, doing 5 throughout the day, right?
Yeah. So the first part where it says 5 palm-sized portions, and it may say 4 to 6 vegetables and your carb, that's how you've got that for your daily total. So you may have one meal that just has just carbs in it, which means you're going to have a meal at some point that's just protein.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So have a look through your guide. If you've got questions, drop them to me on My Coach. Try not to email in to the member email or the Jenny at Into Training. And please don't put them on Facebook because I'm going to miss them all over the place. I'm missing a ton of notifications as it is. Use the My Coach app for the messaging just because it's much easier for me to make sure that the challenge stuff is in that one place and I can get to it much quicker than trying to search through while I'm doing other stuff. But have a look through. Any questions, fire them off to me. Tomorrow we'll start the first part about board a meeting, why we do it, what we can do to try and stop some of it. Just some little actions that I want you guys to try throughout the week, and we'll use this kind of slot just to check in, see how people are doing. Did they have a good day yesterday? Didn't they? What could they have done better? What do they plan to do differently today? Just to kind of keep everyone involved, find out what's working for people, what's not working for people, and just share it across with everybody.
Thank
All
you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jen.
you.
Okay.
Bye. Good day.
Miss you all.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
That is
Bye.